Listen up, tankers. We here at Ruckus Entertainment know you love firepower. We know you love Blitz, and we know you love your country. But how much do you love other people's countries? The question is pertinent because the T34 Independence is going global and it's coming to a server near you, meaning you now have the ability to proclaim your dedication to the ideals of capitalism by spending real money on a vehicle commemorating the national holiday of a nation you've probably never even been to. For the equivalent of 7,500 gold, you can buy 65 tons of American pride. Wargaming have taken a regular T34 and tricked it out with an all-new sound system, window tinting, lift kit, cup holders, and the ability to actually convert the tears of your haters into in-game credits. Though the colours of Old Glory are guaranteed to draw the eye of all within range, tankers who've mastered the art of hull-down fighting will fear no enemy and instead dispense 120mm parcels of justice from the Independence's Freedom Cannon. Sick it out there, soldier. Lead the land war in Operation Desert Sands, quell the red insurgency on Oasis Palms, and liberate the strategic oil reserves of Black Goldville with a rolling bunker that screams, subtlety? Never heard of it. Spoken by Sergeant Yipdog on behalf of Ruckus Entertainment Australia.
Howdy there one and all, and welcome to what will be the most patriotic episode shown on this channel to date. Yes, the T34 Independence, released over a month ago, is finally getting a gameplay walkthrough. Now, if that introduction seemed unnecessarily long and complex to you, then you would be correct, because that was actually supposed to be my community contributor hype video that was going to be released alongside the Independence's global release. But unfortunately it did not make it past the censors. Our wargaming handler did not want to risk creating any kind of inter-server war, and he was of the opinion that the video cast the T34 Independence in a negative light and it would be counterproductive towards sales. Now, I can see things from his perspective regarding the inter-server strife. By putting this video up on the Asia server portal, it would perhaps set the tone that you could slag off any other server, even in a good-natured way, and get away with it. And it'd be a bit of a slippery slope, really. I didn't consider that at the time of making the video. I was only given 1 week to produce it, so that's why it perhaps came out the way it did. But I do disagree that the tongue-in-cheek approach I took to making the video was the wrong way to advertise the T34 Independence. Because, for starters, when we first signed up to this community contributor program, both myself and Huge, whilst we were thrilled that we were being given the opportunity to do it in the first place, we both stated in no uncertain terms that we wouldn't just hype any old tank and gloss over its weaknesses or deficiencies. That would be a fantastic way for us to lose all our credibility, and it wouldn't be fair on you guys, especially for premium vehicles where it's not just something you grind your way to, it's actually something you're outlaying your own cold hard cash on. So we wanted to make sure that when we made these videos we weren't glossing over any hard truths about vehicles. Now, the T34 Independence is a good tank. It's just as good a tank as a regular T34. And it's just as good a tank as a regular T34 because in all aspects, except for the paint job, it is a regular T34. The stats are exactly the same. Or at least the stats that we can see are exactly the same anyway. If Wargaming had said, here's a regular T34, we want you to do a review on it, that video would have went something like, here's the T34, massive frontal turret armor, weak hull armor, poor mobility, excellent gun penetration, but poor aim time and accuracy. Job done. But this is the T34 Independence. What's different about it? Well, it's white, red and blue. Yep, that's about it. So why does one purchase the T34 Independence over the regular T34? You buy this thing because you want to stand out like dog's balls on the battlefield. You buy it because you want to trash talk people at the beginning of matches, and you buy it because you want to fool people into thinking you are just some wallet warrior scrub so that you may feast on their tears in your victory. There is no subtlety about this machine. It is a gaudy slice of Americana sold to the rest of the world for Wargaming's profit. And that's the reason why I went in the direction I did with the video. I have nothing against America as a country. I've been there once or twice. I think it is a fantastic part of the world. And Americans themselves, whilst we find their levels of patriotism often baffling, we wouldn't have you any other way, I swear. So whilst Wargaming wanted to treat this whole thing with a straight face, as they sold the national holiday of one country to the rest of the world, I just couldn't keep a straight face and do that, and that's why my video did not go up on the website. You will note though that I have purchased the T34 Independence, as did many people. That it would sell well, I don't think was ever in any doubt. Just wrapping up the last bit of resistance here in this Tier 8 game on Rockfield. This poor T20's managed to get himself permatracked on the edge of that cliff. Look for one shot on the ice suit as he backs away. And get it. And in quick succession they're both taken out. Sniper and Confederate for that game, 3.6k damage and 1k raw XP. And right there is the reason why you buy a Tier 8 premium vehicle, 90,000 credits. Now before I get into the gameplay, let's just run through the statistics of the vehicle real quick. These are the T34 Independences, or the regular T34's statistics compared against the other Tier 8 heavies to give an average. Starting with the vehicle statistics, 1400 hit points is the worst of any of the Tier 8 heavies, as is 220 meters view range, not good. Fire chance 20% is not great either, but that's not unusual. Hull armor, as stated, is poor, 102mm at the front, 76 down the sides, and 51 at the rear, but turret armor is fantastic. 279mm of frontal turret armor is just under the best. The T32 has the best at 298, but 279 is 42% better than the average for the tier. Side armor, not fantastic on the turret, 127, but rear armor, also very good, 203. Now the vehicle's weight sits about the middle, 65 tons. Engine power is okay, and powder weight is bang on average for the tier. Speed limit is just under 35 km per hour, and the traverses are not great. This is not a tank with fantastic mobility. 22 degrees hull reverse and 18 degrees turret. Onto the gun, rate of fire is absolutely woeful, 4 rounds per minute, 31% worse than the average. Damage is good at 400, but the DPM, because of that reload, is poor, 11% worse than the average, 1600 DPM. Now the AP pen is the best for the tier, 248mm, and the gold rounds even better, 297. Fantastically well performing rounds if you can manage to hit anything with them. 0.3 meters dispersion is 8% worse than the average, and 3.4 seconds aim time is not great either. Now the gun's vertical firing arc, 15 degrees elevation, is the worst for the tier. That is not good at all, but the depression, being an American vehicle, is great, negative 10 degrees. So basically what you have here is your standard hold down American heavy tank. If you spot this thing out in the open, you should definitely engage it because that hull is weak. But if you are up against a competent player who is hull down, you are best to go look elsewhere for your fights because you probably come off second best. The gun is strong and the turret armor is great. And of course it goes without saying that if you are playing one of these things, you should be analysing the map, looking for those valleys and hills and depressions, places where you can hide the hole but still stick the turret out and engage your targets that way. If you are fighting with this thing out in the open, you are doing it wrong and you are setting yourself up to fail. Well, maybe that's a bit harsh. You can fight with this thing out in the open if you choose your battles wisely. I've been doing it in this game, but it is just a tier 8 battle. You can side scrape too, although 76mm of side armor has to be angled very sharply to get any bounces. I was using some minimal cover in the cap circle before to bounce shots from that Tiger P there, getting away with it. But watch me ruin my finishing blow on this guy. First shot bounces off the turret. Come on, at 240mm of penetration. Charge him down, looking for a killing blow. I go to a hold down position here. And he bounces off my front plate, but I also bounce off his front upper plate. 2 shots I've donked now. Would have finished this guy in one shot, I think, with HE rounds from this 120mm gun, but I come out again, hit him in exactly the same spot again. This time he penetrates, and again I get a glancing blow off his upper plate. Come on, Ruckus. And for the same shot again, but this time it hits the flat portion of the upper plate, and I get the kill finally. Pretty sure Pimp Daddy's affirmative there was ironically made as I ruined that approach. Yag Tiger 88 with its rapid firing gun is putting shots into me ineffectually. And this guy's frontal armor is nice and flat and easy to aim for. Pimp can have the flat panzer. This 88 is just about to go down. Bang. 4 for myself, 2 for Pimp. Nice one. Top Gun Sniper, Crucial and Brothers in Arms for that one. 2.6k damage, 1.9 for Pimp, 13 shots fired, 10 penetrations, 68,000 credits, and 3k XP. Up next is a tier 10 battle on Middleburg. It's myself and the player formerly known as Pockety. He now rolls under the name Hokey Pokey. If people could please stop changing their names, that would be great. I cannot keep up. The team is spreading out. We've got a few tank destroyers moving into town, but the rest of us move into the high ground. There's no way I am rolling into town and risking fighting IS-7s on flat ground in this thing. And the ISU has called for help, and he's angry at his team for not following them into town, but don't be that guy who rolls off by himself and then blames his team for not following. Unless your team is doing something dumb like sitting in a corner altogether. If they move off purposefully in one direction and you move off in the other direction by yourself, it's your fault if you get surrounded and killed. Adjust your tactics to suit what your team does. Pushing the hill in force on Middleburg is rarely a bad idea. You can see on this game the Reds have done this, and it's just as well we've got a few numbers up here to fight them off. Sticking out a bit too far there, obviously. I trade shots with that T34, and he does manage to penetrate my hull. There's no way I'm going to be able to do the same to a hull down T54 though, so I swap to HE rounds. Speculative shot, but misses. Not a great start. Gonna be honest, I don't play this one fantastically well. Comes all the way over now to get hit on our poor E50M, who is being surrounded. There he goes. This Patton is now looking very vulnerable. He's at least got the sense to stay hull down though. Reds are moving in. Holding off my shot for the most important target here. In front of the IS-7, not a good shot. PSU players are good. He's not going to poke out unless he knows he can get a hit. Here's the T-54 again. And I do manage to get him, but look out. IS-7's everywhere. RIP M46 Patton. Bad luck, mate. Swap now to APCR. Things are really starting to heat up here, and unlucky to track the T-44 as he flies past. He tracks me, and I'm very slow on the repair. I repair just as the IS-7 fires, and I lose both repairs, and I'm still tracked. Get away just though. Look out. IS-7 again. Track him on the crest. He needs to back away now. We've got a cap. I didn't even realize at the time, but our cap is now up to 70%. And this is why the Reds are all focused on that direction now. There is that piss poor accuracy on the T-54. It should have been an easy tracking shot on the SDI, but glances into his upper plate. IS-7's moving past, desperate now to reset. Got one Jagdpanzer E100 sitting on cap. And he does manage to do it. Very boring end to this game, but at the time I was relieved. That could have been far harder than it was. 1.6k damage, 2 for POC. The tier 8's coming out on top there. Only 5 penetrating hits. 35,000 credits with a big repair and ammo built, and 2.3k XP. Tier 8 battle again for the 4th match, starting on the opposite side of the map. Same tactics apply though, let's rush that hill. The Reds have got the far superior force there, 4 tier 8s to our 3, and an extra tier 7 too. That's okay, we've got a stock KV-1S and a Churchill gun carrier. This game is locked in. Come on GC, follow along. Don't be that guy. What's he doing? What a sad sight. A lone Churchill gun carrier flanking. What is he doing? Let's get up this hill, get into a hold down position. Oh, look out. Churchill has lag. He is stalled at about 999 ping in the open. Oh dear. Now we've got lots of meds up in the valley here in the high ground. I'm going to move into this hold down position, overwatching, and get a few shots away. Massive pen through the front of the Pershing's gun mantlet, no problem. Target's right. IS-3 now. Not our poor gun carrier, but this is the ideal position for the T34. Hold down against those 2 tier 8 heavy tanks. And well, they're not even focusing on me anyway, but should they turn their attention to me, no chance of getting any shots on. But they're pushing the advantage, coming around. The KV-1S, even though he's stock, he's responding to the rush, which is really good to see. He's only got the stubby derp gun. HE for the win. Looks like Tote Rules turned around as well, putting lots of fire onto this IS-3. One for me. A miss there by the KV-1S. IS-6 now pushing the advantage. No advantage really. Focusing poor Anon 77. That won't stand. Take a hit, but this IS-6 is gone. And I leave the flat Panzer to our team, which in hindsight turns out to be the wrong move for Anon. He gets taken out. But that flat Panzer won't last long, and now it's just the Tiger. Yep. There's that accuracy again. Tiger goes down fighting, taking out our T34-85. But I'm going to come screaming around the corner here, straight into a face-hugging position. And he won't have the gun depression to hit my upper plate. And nor the pen to get through the front of my turret from there. Keep the pressure on, bully this guy into submission. T43 gets the kill. Just the sniper for that one. 2.8k damage and 2.5 for Tote Ruler. 9 penetrating hits, 77,000 credits, and 2.9 XP. The final match in today's episode is another tier 8 battle, this time on Black Goldville. Mainly tier 8 battles in today's episode. I just have not played that many games in the Independence. I think my total is only 26 so far. I'm suffering from something of a premium tank glut. I've got, in ascending order, the T2 light tank, the 2 gift tanks, LTP and the M3 light, the SHU, the PZB2, the Churchill 3, SU-85I, that tier 5 Soviet tank destroyer, SU-100Y box tank, the mighty TOG 2, the E25, which will get another episode very shortly, IS-6 and this T-34. So too many premium tanks really, and as we all know, all they do in Blitz is grind credits, and seeing as I'm sitting on 20 million credits anyway, there's just no real reason to play a premium tank unless it plays in an interesting manner. Like, say something like the E25, that tank is unique and you play it because it's a hell of a lot of fun, but the Independence, it's just a bit too slow for me, really. Doesn't have any key strengths that I enjoy. I don't really like Tier 8 either. I would much prefer to be in the M103 at Tier 9 or the T29 at Tier 7. Even if I'm only making half the credits I would be in the T34 each game. They're just so much better tanks, really, in my mind. This thing is just too slow. I have banged on about the crew skill situation in Blitz and the fact that your premium vehicles only grind credits, not crew skills. I've whinged about this before. I'm not real happy with the implementation of the crew skills in Blitz. I think it's a bit too simplified, but what can you do? Now look at this Tiger. What is he doing? Is that $5 on the ground? Ooh, T34. If you're not familiar with the crew training system on PC, it's much more complex than here on Blitz. Each tank gets its own crew, and when you unlock a new vehicle, you have to shift that crew over to the new vehicle and retrain them for that new vehicle. On top of that, each crew must be trained in its own skills, and each crew member has a different set of skills. It all boils down to a massive investment in time, really. Perhaps too much. Something in between the two systems, I think, is what I'd like to see in Blitz. I'm sure it's too late to be implemented now, but something where you could tailor your own crews a bit, and it wasn't quite so simplified. T44, airtime! No hit. Now, IS-3 is moving in. He has 400 more hit points than me, so this is going to be dicey if he knows what he's doing. We both set up to side scrape, and I pull away, look for that pike nose, but I hit the sea container instead, and he is coming forward to take advantage. He has seen me fire. This guy perhaps knows what he's doing, and now I am 50% of his hit points. I'm going to move now into face hug again, but unlike the Tiger, this guy is quite low to the ground, and his gun can easily fire into my upper plate. So I'm keeping it as angled as possible. You can see I'm just poking him with the front left-hand drive wheel, trying to keep my hull diamond shaped to him, and he is holding his fire, looking like he wanted me to flatten out. He took a shot in the end and it did penetrate, so I'm now down to a one-shot kill. Aim for the turret armor, only 30mm of turret armor there on the top of the IS-3's turret. Get a penetration, he's now a one-shot kill. And my angling pays off. His second shot bounces off the front plate. Pull back, killing blow, but no. 3 hit points remaining. I'm going to have to do it all again. But no, he drives forward, and that low-speed collision is just enough for the kill. 2 T-44s remaining now. They've got pimps surrounded. Looks like he is going to go down to them. Get the jump on Sombit there. There's 1 T-44 left, and he's moving in fast. I've got Panther 2 as backup. He's almost full health, but I should be able to get this guy as he comes up the hill. Oh, donk the shot! And he gets one back. I am now a one-shot kill, and he could easily beat my reload. Oh, Panther 2 for the win. Thank you very much, mate. That would have been embarrassing. And that's a wrap, guys. Thank you very much for watching. The T34 Independence, whilst not my favourite vehicle, just not as fun as the heavy tanks that populate the tech tree around it, is certainly not a vehicle without its strengths. If you can get this thing hull down, you will profit. So good luck out there, guys, and I will see you soon on the next one. Peace.